can't believe I've been dead for 5 years. I really thought that I would, leave this realm once I saw Green Knight. I thought that was my purpose in life. Even though I died before I knew it was a thing. I thought it was my purpose, but guess I gotta keep watching movies until I become a human again, or just stop being a ghost. I wish Glenn was here. Where is Glenn? How is my water a ghost? Oh no.
That's insane.
Oh shit, when did you die?
Since I was murdered.
You were murdered?
People don't like me.
Who murdered you?
A man of no name.
Clint Eastwood?
Yes.
Fuck.
That 80-year-old man does not like me.
He's older than 80.
That 98-year-old man.
Man, well, you're dumb for letting a 98-year-old man murder you.
Listen, it was deceiving. He's like, let's just do one take. I swear to God, it's a prop. And, well, properly, I am dead. So.
Look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Not me. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another little review that we're about to do.
Yes!
For the dear old Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, it is here.
It is directed by Jason Reitman, who is Ivan Reitman's son. Yeah, Jason Reitman, who is Ivan Reitman's son. Ivan Reitman obviously directed and wrote the first one. And I believe the second one, too. Don't quote me on that if that's incorrect. This is starring King Paul Rudd and a bunch of actors who are working with King Paul Rudd.
His citizens, if you will.
He is the main character of this movie. Don't let anyone, even the story, tell you otherwise.
Fret not.
This is about King Paul Rudd getting stuck in something that is a spoiler, so I will not say.
In somebody else's plot line.
And someone else's plot line. Over. He is. But, yeah, this is obviously a sequel to Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Soft reboot, ignoring the, I don't want to call it all-female, because I don't want people
the 2015 or 16.
Yes, I didn't dislike that because it was all-female. I disliked that one because it was bad.
Which is understandable.
This one is an improvement. I think you and I both discussed earlier that it kind of doesn't trust its audience enough.
Yeah.
It's expecting people to have not seen the first two.
Which in a way of itself is understandable, because this is now like 40 years later. After 1 and 2. And at this point, it's an entirely different generation on top of another entire different generation. So, I mean, there's a whole new audience who probably haven't seen Ghostbusters. So they're introducing it to a new crowd, new child base in a way. Which
parents, show your kids old movies.
What is wrong with you?
Show your kids old movies. Don't be like his parents and not show him old movies so he has a hatred for old movies. I grew up on like I Love Lucy and Wizard of Oz and The Court Jester.
I did watch Ghostbusters growing up, so...
Well, 80s don't count as
that
old.
is very true.
For Gen Z, Ghostbusters count as that
counts.
old, but not for us. So, this follows the daughter and grandchildren of Egon Spangler, played by the late Harold Ramis. But it opens up with a good building up of what happened to him afterwards. It's obvious. Obviously, he couldn't be in this movie, but they did a great job of having his character in this movie in a respectful way, and it still looked like him.
They never showed his face.
They never showed his face in the beginning, and it kind of shows that he moved to this town in Oklahoma because some shit was going down. And then it jumps to his daughter and grandchildren and how they got the house and everything. But the thing I liked about this above the... I don't even remember who was in that one. Melissa McCarthy. Why can't I remember her name? Kristen Wiig and the others. This respects the first two and the characters in the first two, whereas I feel like the that one was just kind of like trying to do a giant middle finger, mainly because of people overreacted to an all-female Ghostbusters, and then they doubled down on it, which made it bad. But this one they really built the world and respected the world, as dumb as that might sound. I enjoyed that aspect of it.
There is a huge difference between the two.
Yeah.
That given, this one built around what we already knew. That one kind of did in a way, but they just got thrown into it. They were just people that just, if I remember correctly,
they erased there were no Ghostbusters until them in that one. So I like that they added on instead of just trying to reboot it completely.
So for me, this is like definitely the way they should have gone.
Yeah. Notice how no one's really complained that the main character in this is a 12-year-old girl.
At least that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that's true. That we're aware of. But yeah, it's definitely a better, more respectful sequel than the reboot that was that one. But enough of talking about that one.
Yeah, we're done talking about that. Definitely the best parts for me were obviously Paul Rudd. The man's amazing.
Yes.
He's hilarious.
Were there other people in this movie?
There
actually?
was.
Oh,
I
wow.
really enjoyed Phoebe's character, which was the granddaughter, if you will.
I thought you were trying to think of her name. I'm like, you have it right there.
No, but McKenna Grace was great in it. She was just a well done character. She felt like Spengler, just like a reincarnation of her, or if you will, a granddaughter.
Yes.
Just the personality and everything. You liked it because you felt connected to it because she was pretty much Spengler, just in a tiny.
Looked like him as well.
form.
As much as a 12-year-old girl can look like Harold Ramis.
See, those were the two best perks for me, were Paul Rudd and McKenna Grace. Besides that, everybody else kind of just felt like they were put there for me. Specifically, also like Finn Wolfhard, they could have gave him a little more anything.
They started to towards the end,
Towards
but
the end, yeah.
the first 30, 45 minutes, he was just a whiny little bitch. And
whiny little simp.
A whiny little simp, yes, that's a good. But he was just not good, and we know he can act. Like, we've seen Stranger Things. He might not be the strongest actor in Stranger Things, but he can act. In this, I think the writing was just kind of weak for his character at the beginning. It's like they didn't know what they wanted him to do.
Yeah.
So his whole character for the beginning was essentially to meet other characters to introduce to us. Yeah. That's all he was for the first half.
Where to me he could have been a more charismatic version of Phoebe.
Yeah.
Still had the brain smarts that Phoebe has.
Which they hinted at with him fixing the car.
Yeah. Which a mechanic in a way. Yeah. Even though, 15 years old and never had a job or anything like that. Man just knew how to fix a car. But besides that, it would have been cool if they gave him that, brain power, but also the charisma in order to to move plot points along. Like he kind of did in this, but more it was like he was just the plug-in for meeting other people.
And a huge simp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge simp.
But yeah, I mean, for overall, this was a pretty decent, fun movie.
Yeah.
There wasn't any parts where I was like, "This movie's shit" or anything like that.
I rolled my eyes a few times,
absolutely.
But there's mainly the parts where they were over explaining for younger audiences.
Exposition,
but it's understandable if you haven't seen it why that might be good. But
there was a character named Podcast that was pretty annoying. Not against the actor.
No, the actor he made me chuckle a few times, but his character was just annoyingly written, and
he was a lot of exposition. A lot of characters knew facts from centuries ago for some reason. I'm like, you're 12 years old.
To their defense, they're facts that I knew around that age, and he went to Coatesville High School.
I'm brain dead.
I went to Downingtown West High School, so. That's only a joke that people in Chester County understand.
Good luck elsewhere.
But I think they did a good job building a world for continuing the franchise, which I kind of hope they do. I know we're not really going to have Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, or Dan Aykroyd come back frequently. Mainly because of their age and
or at least not be Ghostbusters.
Yeah, not be Ghostbusters, but they did a good job at introducing new characters for the sequels to hopefully follow, and but without like completely shrugging those guys off and just being like, oh, we don't care about you anymore. So it felt like a very sentimental sequel to the point where, I mean, obviously it's kind of a family affair in a way, with Jason Reitman directing a sequel to his father's movies like 40 years later or whatever it is. You have Harold Ramis getting like it dedicated to him, and his character having a very honestly beautiful moments throughout. Without getting into too many spoilers, they do a good job to not just his character but the actor as well.
It honored both very much.
Yeah,
and it was really nice to see, especially at the end of the movie. Just seeing how much. I know we're kind of jumping into spoilers here. And
do we want to talk about spoilers? Or
I mean, we kind of briefly touched a couple of spoilers there for a little bit. We'll do like a quick little spoiler thing in the beginning. But especially like how well the ghosts and everything looked, and how well done it looked, like Harold Ramis and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was really awesome. It's such a good and touching movie.
Legitimately, it just looked like he was there, like a Force ghost.
Yeah, and
like they just shot him on a green screen, put him on top of it, and then brought down the opacity.
It was good for all of the Ghostbusters, and not just Harold, because all of them were their characters in this movie, and not just one of them dies by jumping out of a window or getting pushed out of a window. I think that was Bill Murray in the last one.
Well, he was a skeptic in the Melissa McCarthy one.
So this one like honored, the one, obviously their characters and everything, and they were their characters. They played their characters. They did their thing, and Harold looked great considering he was, he passed away years ago.
Yeah,
how did he do it?
It was nice getting to see those actors who were all friends with Harold Ramis, even if they had their differences towards the end. I know Bill Murray got to say goodbye to Harold Ramis and make amends after before he died and everything. But it was just nice seeing all of them kind of have closure. The characters have closure with Egon. So it was, it definitely has its faults, but there's enough good there to make me want a sequel. Yeah. As annoying as Podcast was, he had some really funny lines. Phoebe's jokes that were supposed to be bad were hilarious. Maybe it's just because I'm a new dad, but they were so fucking funny.
I think the dad genes are kicking in.
The dad genes are kicking in. I gotta start tucking my t-shirts in.
I'm already doing that for you.
But it was a solid sequel. It's not anything that's gonna like create a cult status like the first one has.
No.
But it definitely does it justice. It does it justice for being a sequel that's far too late.
I believe so too.
And I'm excited to see if they make any more. Yeah.
I think they could do well, especially after this was basically kind of the setup for what could be some good things in the future. Yeah, they have cutscenes in it as well. Especially like if they do continue to have Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and everybody else in it, I believe they could just be kind of side like people, just be like in the background, kind of pushing everything along. Yeah, pushing up the new people. I think that could be good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have too much else to say. I enjoyed it for the most part. Definitely have problems with it, but it's an enjoyable film. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Same. Holy crap. Oh, wow. You read my mind. Read the mind in the membrane. There's something strange in the neighborhood. Who you going to call? What's the next line? Me. You? Okay. Call him Glenn. Just call me. Here's my number. I don't know where I'm going with that. Goodbye. Bye.